and write songs through the perilous times. For the ramparts we march were so gallantly streaming, and the
Take those off too. Huh?
Women don't. Men do.
For the land of the free.
USA! 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 USA!
Thank you guys so much. So now we'll officially kick it off. My name is Heidi. I'm one of the co-founders of Freedom Angels
Thank you.
Foundation. Thank you guys. I know you've come from all across the state to be here. I know there are many of you that drove all the way up from Southern California. Some of you braved planes even.
Right on, thanks. I just had a lot of stuff on my hands and I just had a hard time. I'm trying to film it and put it on YouTube too. And I was trying to get a good angle. No, thank you.
To stand for keeping our churches open, our small businesses open, and school choice. School choice, absolutely. Whether you are choosing to do that school in a brick and mortar, through a charter, or through homeschool, we also stand for school choice. So thank you very much for coming. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hello everybody, my name is Denise. I'm one of the co-founders of Freedom Angels, and I want to thank you guys for coming across this ginormous state to come and redress your grievances to our governor. The state should never be ran by one person for a state as big as this. It should not take you a whole day to come out to your capital and redress your government. What has happened to us? We got lazy. We voted people in by that D or that R at the end of their name, and we just thought that they could police themselves. We fell asleep at the wheel and we voted these people in to make decisions for our families and our children, and now they have run amok. They have forgotten who they are supposed to be representing. They have forgotten their job is being paid for by taxpayers out here, having to travel hours just to come out here and voice their opinions while we can't even get into the Capitol. What's happened in the last couple of months is BLM has come out to the Sacramento or to the California Capitol and has assaulted police officers and thrown ice waters at their heads. They have looted, they have rioted, all in the name of Black Lives Matter, all in the name of skin color. And I'm here as a Mexican American to tell you that that's bullshit. I will never back up an organization that acts as terrorists. I will never back up an organization that doesn't give back to their own community. And I will never back up an organization that sits here and tries to coerce and bully people thinking that the American flag is a sign of terrorism. We are patriots, we are American citizens, and we have every right to be here today. Doesn't matter what our color is, what our background is. I'm going to tell you, I am Christian, I am Mexican, ex-gang member, and I will not allow Governor Newsom to make these decisions. Not long ago, I said, watch me make a change in this state. And with these women, these amazing women, we have been able to make changes across the nation and build you guys up to know you don't need thousands of people. It takes 1 to 3 or 4 and show up. Latinos, start talking to your Latino community. Blacks, start talking to your Black community, because we are the ones that they play the game of chess with. We are the ones that have to pay for their decisions. Even though it does affect everybody, they go into the inner city first. We are the first victims. So I want everybody to know, as Americans, you have every right to be here and to redress Governor Newsom, because we want him the hell out of California.
No, whenever you see something catastrophic happen to good people, you look at those people and be like, are you the person? Are you? What is this massive thing that just landed in your
So
lap?
another thing that we wanted to address, like I said, was churches staying open. One of my prayers at the beginning of this whole thing was, God, why are the pastors being so weak when we need you the most? So many days down on my knees, praying and weeping.
It's an ugly process. That's the thing. Like, that's why I don't want to share it too much. People start telling me, like,
I was praying
you really gotta see
specifically for
yes,
80
it's that
pastors
bad.
to stand boldly.
It's like I do have to, like,
for
I'm out here trying to
California.
find my own
Our
way. If I
numbers
never
are
see my
growing
family again,
every
that means
single
I did
day.
something.
Today, you are going to be
don't-
introduced to 2 more pastors as well that are standing boldly for the call for religious freedom. Our nation is one nation founded under God. And that bedrock, that moral high ground,
That's actually very
must
insightful.
be kept. We must hold the line there.
It's nice
And
to meet
so
you, Jamie.
I just
Thanks
want
for
to point out
letting me
too, I have my appeal to heaven flag over here, stage right by the speaker right there. But I don't know if you can see it right there. The speaker right here. So many of us have forgotten our history. Our history started with the Revolutionary War. George Washington put this flag, an appeal to heaven, on all the ships when they were fighting the Revolutionary War, because he knew that he was coming to a nation where God was going to be put first. So may this day be a day where we recognize and honor our appeal is to God first, an appeal to heaven.
God-given rights protected by the Constitution.
Hi, I'm Tara, also a co-founder of the Freedom Angels. And, today, so much, besides protesting, the point of being here is to organize. Because we already have everything we need to be the course correct that the elected and appointed officials have not taken. And we know that that's been disingenuous at best, and it's criminal and nefarious at worst. So we have God, we have the Constitution, and we have each other. There's nothing else we need. We don't even need to tell another person about what's going on. We just need to start being the solutions, and they will join us. We have enough of us. So the people that have come here today to the stage are going to talk to you about how to move within your community and what tools you can use so that you can gather with those in your neighborhoods, in your towns, and in your county who already feel like you do, who are suffering, whether it be financially, spiritually, physically, and mentally and emotionally. Because this is 4.5 months in to a world that was already broken. And now it is hurting at such a level that let this be the call to course correct, to align soul and society, to do what we didn't think we could do before. Now we know we can do it. Let's find the ways. You know, when a world is suffering, when a person is hurting, you don't step away from them. You don't put a mask on and isolate and shame them and treat them with hate. You pull them in. You give them love. You take care of each other. You sit next to each other and you find solutions. You lend a helping hand to the business. You comfort the elder, make sure they're getting the best care there is. You tell the small child, you don't have to be afraid, because I will stand in front of you. I will protect you. And I will fight for a world where you are safe and free, where your inborn God-given human rights matter. And I want to say, thank you, Jeff, Dr. Jeff Barton. I want to say that it is, cover your ears, it's bullshit that they're talking about bed space and masks and stay away from each other and go in your house and go in, shut your business down and keep your kids out of school. That is not about health or healing a community. We have effective treatments. Our place now is to stand in our towns, in our communities, and demand those making decisions have their feet held to the fire in the public town square. That due process and burden of proof is on them. We want public town halls, and if you care about health, then the one thing public health should be doing, and Gavin Newsom and everyone else should be doing, is telling everybody, and this in mainstream media instead of fake news, that this is how you stay healthy. And they will make available the integrative treatments that are currently available, whether it be hydroxychloroquine, inhaled budesonide, whether it be vitamin D, IV vitamin C, all the different treatments that are available for a virus that is only 99.8% survivable without effective treatments. And we demand that they be made available and information on them at the earliest point of contact for every person at doctor's offices, clinics, ERs, and the like, and then the fear will be broken and they will not be able to control people any longer. We're here, thank you for traveling. We're here to listen to the speakers who will share the models of resistance in their counties and towns and be inspired by them, and also take heart that we have tools, we have each other, and let's show, like as Gavin Newsom said, there's two things I agree with. I know. One, is that as California goes, so goes the nation. Well, let's just show them how California's gonna go. And the other thing he says is localism is deterministic. That's right, from the ground up, we're gonna be the course correct. We can do this, you're not alone anywhere. Organize, come back here and sign up for your counties. Follow Freedom Angels Foundation and every one of the people here on the stage. We'll keep linking them, and no matter where you are, let's do this, because as my friend Rochelle Stein says, it's all for nothing if you don't have your freedom.
And again, after we have a chance, back here in the Freedom Angels booth, we have bi-county organization. Gavin Newsom has his strike team, so we're organizing our own strike teams. We call you on the phone tree to let you know what businesses are in trouble, and you're going to show up. This is something Nevada City has modeled for us, and we're going to continue to push that through. So in introduction to our speaker, and this unprecedented encroachment into civil liberties, renowned human rights attorney Lee Dundas and her nonprofit organization Advocate for Citizens' Rights are moving swiftly to address issues involving mandatory mask wearing and social distancing, as well as quarantine and contact tracing measures. Please join us and welcome Lee Dundas.
Oh, thank you guys for coming out today. So, the last time I was on this stage, I spoke to you about a 12 or 15-year-old girl who had been kidnapped into sexual slavery in Asia where I worked. She escaped on the day she should have died because she refused to kneel down and lick the boots of her would-be executioner. And when they put a gun to her temple, She stood up and she said, "You give me that gun, because I will shoot myself." And instead of her being shot, the slave camp owner walked by and heard that act of defiance and rebellion. And ultimately, that act of rebellion is what set her free, because he respected that. And I don't know why, to this day, I don't know why she told me that story. It was completely irrelevant to any work that we were doing that day or on any other day. But I thank God every day now, especially now, that she shared with me that story, because it was the single biggest gift I have ever been given, because it was the single biggest lesson I have ever learned, which is this: when you are staring into the face of tyranny, you stand the hell up! You do not grovel, you do not bow down, you do not obey illegal orders, you stand the hell up. And right now, today, we are staring into tyranny more than any of us in our lifetimes have ever done before. In this great state, in our counties, in our businesses, our schools, and our churches, which should be defending our constitutional rights, and instead are busy selling them out. And that is not acceptable, guys. It is absolutely not acceptable. They are bowing down right now, all of those entities I just mentioned, to lick the damn jackboots of the most oppressive ruler this state has probably ever known, and his name is Gavin Newsom.
Recall Newsom!
So I'm going to talk to you today about protocols we can use to win this war, because make no damn mistake, this is a war. But I would be remiss if I did not tell you this. Every battle we have fought since March, every single battle we have won, every single battle we have lost, has been due to one man in this state, the man in the house behind me. He has milked the emergency powers of this state long past the point they were ever conceived to be used for. He has neutered the state legislature and the state courts that are supposed to act as a check and balance on his reign. And in so doing, he has appointed himself both dictator and king, and he has made over 400 changes that have the force of law to our laws. And that is not a democracy, folks. That is a damn dictatorship.
Yep.
So I am gonna tell you today the things that have been successful, the things you can take back to your counties to do there to fight tyranny. But make no mistake, the best tactics in the world do not mean much if they are pointed at the wrong darn target. Our battle is going to be much longer and much harder if we are aiming at the wrong target. Do you hear me?
Yes.
So if you have not, and I am not here for the Gavin Newsom recall, but I am telling you this, that is the single quickest way to end all of our battles, is to get him recalled. So if you have not signed that petition, wherever it is, go sign it and make a promise that you're going to have 200 of your friends and family do the same. Got it? Got it! Woo! So the last time I stood on this stage, when I hopped down off the stage, I had found out from a friend of mine who will be speaking next, that in our county, in Orange County, California, in the middle of the night, at midnight on Friday of a 3-day Memorial Day weekend, our local health officer, a woman by the name of Nicole Quick, had seen fit to drop a mandatory mask order on the 3.2 million residents of our county. Okay? And that is not okay. That is absolutely not okay. So the first lesson is you have to keep your friends close and your enemies away. Right, and you need to know your enemies. So go do your research. That's what I did when I got home. And I found out that masks aren't safe, which I already knew, and they don't work against viruses, which I already knew. And I also found out that in the first 72 hours of this woman's mandate, we had not one but 2 people drop unconscious, requiring EMT resuscitation in our county because they were hypoxic. And the last thing I found out doing research is that this woman had no business holding the office she had been appointed to. So the second thing you do is you document it, guys, because if it is not in writing, it did not happen. That's right. So I went home and I wrote a little letter to our board of supervisors where I documented everything I just said, and I sent it off, and they didn't fire her fast enough. So the second thing you do is you make video. And you leverage television and every single piece of social media and other media you can. So that next Tuesday, I showed up at the Board of Supervisors meeting probably more pissed off than I had ever been in my life. I was locked and cocked and loaded for bear, and figuratively speaking, I discharged every freaking second of my 2 minutes.
Woo!
If you have not watched the video and you want some shits and giggles, you should go do it.
Yeah!
I told them in no uncertain terms that I was going to backfill the damned due diligence they had omitted, that that woman had no business being a county health officer because her sole claim to fame after graduating from medical school in Utah is that she wrote methadone prescriptions from her mother's methadone clinic for heroin addicts. Nice, right? Before we decided to pay her $170,000 so she could cut off the oxygen flow to 3.2 million people in our county.
Whoa!
Yeah. And you know what? I said, if she thinks that darn order is so safe, let's put the rubber to the road. Let's go do some jumping jacks with masks on in front of her house and prove whether people go hypoxic or not. And guess what people did later that afternoon? They showed up on the sidewalk in front of her house, and I got holy frickin' hell on social media for that. And you know what? I don't give a rat's ass. If you want to have a civil dialogue with your constituent, if you want to have discourse and democracy, you drop that order at noon on Wednesday. You don't act like a coward and drop it on midnight on a 3-day weekend. If you do that, you just set the rules of engagement, and we will show up and we will use our First Amendment rights on your front doorstep. And so we did.
Action!
Yeah.
Apparently, having a bunch of soccer moms and
This is
2-year-olds
the
running around their ankles
she's a human rights
was really
attorney.
scary, so she needed a police
Your
protective
website.
detail for her.
Citizens-rights.org.
Yeah, and then by the next Board of Supervisors meeting, they still had not fired her. So you know what we did? We went outside the county hall on the steps, and we started doing jumping jacks with masks on, and we videotaped it. And here's another lesson. If you're going to do this, you make darn sure you have the phone number of the people inside the building so they can get a real-time live feed of it. And while they're in there debating their mask order, we're outside going, watch this. Do you know what the oxygen level dropped to within 3 minutes of putting on masks? 86% on average. Medicare will pay for your supplemental oxygen below 88%, and on average, we were 2 points below that. 2 of the women were in the 70s where cardiac standstill and death occurred. But still, that didn't make the point. So I went home, and I wasn't busy enough that Sunday, and even though my name is not Del Victory, we made a little TV commercial. Because you know what happened with 2 kids in China who were running while wearing a mask, right? They died. And that should be the only thing we need to know. But apparently if it happens in China, it's not good enough or close enough to home. So I reenacted that with 2 little blonde kids in a city park. And one of them on the final analysis is getting chest compressions and CPR while EMTs put her in a hospital van and load her off by way of ambulance. And that's the last closing frame you heard. And I wrote a letter to their county council and I said, you are on notice. This is a liability freight train that you can't afford. People are going to die. They've already died in certain countries. And when they do, they're going to sue you. And by the way, this little TV ad that I've shown to nobody but you, I'm going to make damn sure somebody pays to run it 24/7 when the Board of Supervisors are up for re-election. And lo and behold, guess who resigned at 8 p.m. the night before the next Board of Supervisors? Have any of you guys heard of Charity Dean? She was a local health officer in Santa Barbara who decided she was going to have every single school in her county send the vaccine records to her so she could look at them as judge, jury, and executioner, even though nothing in the law allowed her to do that, and it was highly illegal. And instead of being chastised and removed from office, you know what the governor did? He rewarded her by moving her up to be second in command at the California Department of Public Health. So 10 months ago in 105-degree heat, I'm in the mistake of standing in a black business suit right there, and I let her little charming actions be known, and we headlined every single primetime news channel that night in Sacramento. And I wrote a 14-page letter to the Department of Justice asking for an investigation on everybody involved. And every day after that, I had people coming up, begging my apron strings, going, hey, whatever happened with that DOJ investigation? And I'm like, no, it's a Department of Justice investigation. This is not like turning a scooter around. Give it a minute. And I am proud to report to you that 4 weeks ago, when Cal Matters said that Lee Dundas angrily wagged her finger at the Board of Supervisors, and it resulted in the termination of the Orange County Health Officer, 8 paragraphs later, guess what else they reported? That woman, Charity Dean, second in command of the Department of Public Health in our state, and has also been strangling our oxygen, was also resigning from office. I am probably over my time. I'm going to hurry it up here. I want to share with you one more thing. The federal government is our friend right now. They are our friend. And there is always a bigger bully on the block and on the playground. So when I was here on May 1st, I encouraged all of your counties to open the hell up. And when I got off the stage, 6 of the Northern California counties were talking about doing it. And then they did so. Apparently they just needed permission from a crazy lady in the business suit standing in a powerboat to tell them to do it. And then guess what our good governor did? He blackmailed them, and he said, if you open without my permission, I will withhold every bit of state funding from your county from now until the cows come home. And all of the counties, right?
Yeah.
And I got real sad for about a second. Here's another lesson for you. Sad has no energy in it. Mad has a lot of energy in it. So cry if you gotta cry, and then pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get pissed off and passionate, because that's what gets stuff done. And I thought, you know what? 2 people can play this game. If he's gonna blackmail the counties, I'm gonna write a letter to Trump and Barr saying that's fine. If he makes good the threat and withholds their money, then we're gonna ask the feds to withhold every bit of money from the state. And I got every single one of my rich and powerful new friends to sign that letter with me, and they did. And they did. You know who you are. And that letter went to Washington, D.C. at 7:30 in the morning on Monday, May 18th, and by 4:47 that night, Governor Newsom was announcing on AP Newswire we were ready to open 53 of 58 counties. William Barr said we are going to jawbone governors that are acting outside their authority, and I think the hashtag for that little tale is jawboned. All right, guys, so I am going to wrap it up. By the way, all of my research, all of my letters to the schools, to the counties can be found on my website, which is right here. You can get a card from the table. Use it. I didn't reinvent the wheel to use it once. Use it for your own purposes. Print the letter off, put your name on it, send it to your school, send it to your county, send it to your church. I don't care. I want you to do that. Got it? So the last thing I'm going to tell you is when I was coming here today, I had a moment of doubt. Which is not normal for me, because a week ago when I went to use my First Amendment rights, my husband, who I love dearly, we've been married almost 20 years, went with me, and we were standing in line in front of the Board of Supervisors, and do you know what happened to him? We had paid Black Lives Matter Antifa counter protesters come up. They tried to block his way. He's a martial artist, 10-year military veteran, and he said, hell no! He said, excuse me, I'm gonna walk this way. And they said, no, you're not, and they put him in a chokehold, 6 guys on one. And a good friend of mine was rolling video, and as hard as it was for this man to stand down, he did not throw a punch back, he let the video roll. And it's been referred for criminal prosecution at this point, I am proud to say. But it gave me a moment of pause. Because, you know, when you think, yeah, it's important for me to exercise my constitutional rights, but is it so important that I'm going to risk death? That's a different analysis than the last 2 times I've been up here. And I'll tell It took me about 2 freaking seconds. And what I rapidly realized is this: we are not guaranteed to win if we show up, but we are damn well guaranteed a loss if we don't.
Yep. Woo!
I said it before and I said it again. My father was Navy, his father was in the military. My grandfather had not one but 2 boats blown out from under him in World War II. And they didn't die protecting our freedom so we could sell it the hell out on our watch.
Yes!
Yes.
So the last thing I'm going to tell you is you need to fight like you have never fought before. Every second, of every hour, of every day. You fight at Target, you fight at your church, you fight at your county buildings, and you fight at your schools. This disease has 0.0 risk of death for children, and no child has ever given COVID to an adult. There is no reason that our teachers and our state should be shutting down our schools.
Yes.
If the teachers don't want to teach, freaking fire them. There's 41 million people that can take their job.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you to fight. I'm going to ask you to fight like you have never fought before. And I'm going to ask every last one of you not just to sign that recall petition, but to take an oath. To take the same oath those guys did and the military vets did. To defend this country and our United States Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And guys, you can find the flyers of Lee Dundas paperwork on our Freedom Angels booth, where it has a QR code. You can scan it and it goes directly to your phone. You'll be able to find all the letters that she has sent out. So it's real easy. Just sign your name and send it to your phone.
Thank you, Lee. I would like to introduce my friend and partner in freedom, Kevin Jenkins. He's the CEO of Urban Global Health Alliance, and he's traveled the breadth of the country fighting for our medical freedoms and constitutional rights. My dear friend, Kevin Jenkins.
I just want to say one thing. Just give me 1 second. Can you come back up here? I want everybody to know I never want to follow her ever, ever again. This woman is brilliant. Everybody, this woman is brilliant. You are really good, powerful woman. You know what we want to do now? Let me tell you what I want all of you to do. I want you to take 1 deep breath, because you know what? That's our God-given right.
Yes!
Like, understand that. Take that deep breath and understand that they're trying to take that away from us. Now, do you believe in God?
Yes.
Okay, do you believe in country?
Yes.
Do you believe in your children?
Yes.
Do you believe you have the right to be who you are in this country, no matter who you support, no matter what your color is, no matter where you live at? Do you know that?
Yes.
So now, she's following us up. We have to do what she said do. She's working for us. But now let me tell you what I want us to do. I want us to take back this building. Every building in the country, because those people that represent us, that we put in here, don't represent us. We have to get rid of them. They gotta go. Now you can't do it by just coming to these events. You gotta go to where they live. You gotta go to where they live. You gotta go after who they are, because they're going to the core of who we are as humans. Now the fourth thing I want you to do is I want you to hug each other and be human. Right now. Hug each other. Everybody hug each other. Now, let me tell you why I do that. I want you to understand. Because if you hug each other and you're human, you're winning. Now, what they want to do, they want to take our lives away from us, take our breath away from us. They want to take our humanness away from us. And guess what? We're going to fight like hell and never allow it to happen. Now, I just want to do a silent prayer for all of the families that are hurting, living in fear. Right? I'm really bothered by that. I'm bothered by my grandson telling me at 15 years old, Daddy, Granddad, I don't want to go back to school because of coronavirus. I could have ripped up my daughter's apartment when I heard that. But see, you know what my job is? My job is to protect him. My job is to give him hope. My job is to do what? take away the fear that he's never known in his life. He's not certain of being a good human being anymore. They've gotten us all fighting each other. Oh, that white group feels this way. That black group feels this way. Oh, but guess what? They got one thing they got planned for us, to take everything that we work for. My community is some of the most patriotic people on this planet. And guess what? I'm telling all of them, if you don't stand together, no matter where you sit, no matter where you live, they will wipe us out. And guess what? I was in Chicago, I was in Tennessee, I was in Virginia. I've been all over this country. And guess what my message is? If you don't fight now, you have nothing left. So in 4 months, you can't go into a store because they put the mask of the spirit on you. Right now, you can't fly because they're saying if you don't surrender, if you don't comply, we're going to take your life away from you. We're going to take your ability to move. We're going to take your ability to live in place. And if you are poor in America, you know for certain, for goddamn certain, that this government doesn't care about you. They want to put you on permanent welfare. They want to chop you on your houses. They want to microchip you. They want to now track you. So if you don't do what they tell you to do, they will stop you from moving. They will chop you on your house. Now, does that have a color to it? Yeah. Does that have a color to it? Everybody in America is going to be impacted. Everyone, all of us. Don't let them fool you. Don't let the mainstream media lie to you every day. Somebody said to me the other day, Kevin, you ever watching TV? I said, why would I want to wake up with a liar every day? Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to wake up and listen to a lie every day? I want to find truth. That's why I asked you, do you believe in God?
Yes!
Do you believe in country?
Yes!
Do you believe in the people in America that we can rise up against this tyranny?
Yes!
God damn it, get working.
Woo!
This kid, you see, here's a young kid right here just a minute ago. Where's the young kid at? I want to show you something. There was a young kid that was on this stage. Where is he? Did he leave? Well, I want you to look at all of the young people in this country, all of the young people in this audience, all of the small kids, right? They're taking their hope away from them, so I'm doing this for the kids. I mean, we got to fight for our children. Every time I see a child now with a mask on, I lose my mind. And I thought I was going to lose my mind when Tara was crying because I hate that. But think about it. Our children now are walking around with masks on. The mask of despair. Right? It says in Psalms, do not fear. Do not fear. Psalms 91. No muzzle. Right? It's saying no muzzle. And if no muzzle, do not fear Psalms 21. And that's what we should do.
Yes! Woo! Yeah!
Kim and a few others, if you can hear me, come on up on the stage, because what we want to show you is what a county that stands together looks like. We're going to start, our first speaker is Renette Senna. She is not afraid of challenges. In 1994, Renette would become the first woman to cross Alaska alone. It would be during this isolated winter solo trek filmed by Renette for National Geographic that she would learn of all things the power of community. For the last 15 years, Renette's focus has been building on her hometown, Nevada City, California, to become a more resilient community through creative and unconventional means. Through risk assessment, public outreach, and on daily hands-on approach, she has been at the forefront of curating Nevada County towards a more sustainable, connected future. Whether as a city council member, a mayor, a community activist, and all her changing projects have been an immeasurable value to the community. So So Renette was re-elected as a city council member for a third term just this last March. But 2 weeks ago, Renette announced her resignation after completing her second term as mayor of Nevada City. She made the difficult decision after realizing she could not speak to truth as an elected official in this COVID world. After stepping down, immediately she began a publicity blitz warning the public of the criminal behavior of our elected officials regarding the massive COVID disinformation campaign and the solutions that are truly at hand. She is now hosting regular podcasts on her brand new YouTube channel, Western Women Save the World, and on Foghorn Express. And ladies and gentlemen, I introduce recently former mayor and city council member of Nevada County and Nevada City, California, Renette Senum, and behind her will be parents, children, business owners, community members, people just like you who are standing together, who have become family over the last days and weeks because they stepped out and found each other and said, we will be the course correct, that the elected and appointed members of our community have not been, and together we can do this. So they welcome Renette.
Woo! It is a great privilege to be here today. As Tara had mentioned, it was back in '94. I was doing a solo winter crossing of Alaska. The only road I knew was the frozen Yukon River as I was skiing down it. Before my eyes, the river began to melt ahead of schedule. And I realized I had two options and two options only. I give up, or I find a different way to continue, just like we are today. Are we going to give up?
No.
Are we going to find a different way to continue?
Yes.
You better believe it. So I had to step down a couple weeks ago because I have to step up, and that's what I'm going to be asking of every single one of you today. If you are in a place where you are compromised and you cannot speak the truth, reevaluate where you are and make the decision to stand on the right side of history. I began to see a lot of misinformation and leaving the context of COVID out to the public's ears. They were not telling us about symptomatic versus asymptomatic cases. They were not talking to us about the actual therapeutics that are available to us. These were the things that I was asking for as an elected official, and I could not get the answer, though I already knew the truth. So I made the very difficult decision. Why? Because we have a governor who is essential to a Chinese foot soldier behind us, who has $1 billion mask deal with the Chinese government, with an automaker. 5 days after they got OSHA safety certification, the mask mandate happened statewide. Does that smell right to you? It does not smell right to me. And when that mandate happened all across the state of California, including little Nevada County, that had one death of an 80-something-year-old suffering from stage 4 cancer on the other side of the Sierra Range. That mask mandate should not have applied to us. We had less than 200 cases, positive cases. Have you noticed? Have you all noticed how the COVID goalpost has changed over and over? First, it was about do not inundate the hospitals, flatten that curve, keep the deaths down, and then the next thing you know is all about keep the positive cases down. And if you don't, you're going to be shut down. Does that sound like democracy to you? So now we have a governor who is strong-arming us, keeping all cities and counties in a state of emergency. Why? So they can actually continue to receive state and federal funding for the strong-arming of the little guy. What do I mean by that? Guess what? Those mom and pops that are struggling already, they've now been reduced. And the responsibility of policing and taking the liability has been externalized upon the moms and the pops. And you as a business owner, if you get sued for something COVID related, do you know your liability insurance is no longer covering you? Is it the job of an 18-year-old staff member to police somebody bigger, badder than them over a mask policy? Again, does that sound like a democracy to you?
What we are seeing here, folks, is the quintessential problem, reaction, solution.
Yep.
That's what's happening here.
Yep.
And let me tell you, folks, I'm not kidding here. When this first was happening in January, I was watching this in Wuhan closely, and we knew there was going to be economic interruptions. We knew there was going to be supply chain interruptions. We knew there was going to be this political wave coming at us. Right? I was watching the shore, the water pull away. And the tidal wave is yet to hit us, by the way. And the biggest question to me was the virility of the virus at the time. The nefarious Johns Hopkins University was telling us that that number was going to double every 5 to 6.4 days. Do you know what that meant? That meant by the end of April, the whole entire planet was going to be consumed with the virus. Did that happen? Are we grateful? Should we be celebrating? And are we? No. We are kept in fear. Why? Why? Because fear has been the fear porn, right? When we were separated from our community, locked into our homes under house arrest, what happened? The most modern, largest psychological warfare this planet has ever seen. Day in, day out, with your screen in front of your face, you were told to be afraid. Be very afraid. And when you walked out, you know what you walked out as? Somebody who was traumatized. Somebody who's PTSD. And when that happens, there's two things that happens to you. You go into the fetal position, right? Right? Or you go and you fight. Fear or flight, right? Yeah. How many here are in fear? How many are here in fight?
Yeah! Woo!
That's right. So, it is our job and our objective to be standing at that ultimate crossroads. We give up, or we find a different way to continue. And how we continue is we speak the truth. And let me tell you, somebody who is speaking the truth this very day, Peggy Hall, you know why? She's not here. And the reason why she's not here, she called her airlines the other day, make sure she can get on that with a medical exemption, no mask. They said, yes, ma'am, you can. She showed up, and you know what? They didn't let her on. She speaks to mass, right? Mass allowing us all this privilege, mass privilege, right? I have to ask you something. I consider myself a progressive from a small progressive town. And the beautiful thing in the last few weeks is I've had sitting around our dinner table people who are Christian, right? People who are gay, people who are straight, people who are liberal, people who are Democrats. It no longer matters. That party politics has completely dissolved below our feet like the Yukon ice. It is a beautiful thing. And now what we're doing is we have a new movement. We are now accepting the fact that we don't want racial discrimination for blacks, for Muslims, for queers. We don't want that, but what will we allow now? We will allow masks to separate us. All right? And so I have to ask a question. When you hear people say to you, well, she can't go into the store because she was sexually violated and she was muffled when this happens, and she has PTSD and anxiety attacks when she wants to just simply go shopping, do you say to her, well, she can just go home? That is what I hear. I hear my friends say, well, she can just go home. And I have to ask the question, would you say that to a black person? Would you say that to a queer, to a Muslim? Now I'm going to ask the question. Peggy Hall tried to get onto a plane today, which is her God-given right.
Yeah.
If she were black, and they said, you cannot enter because you are black, would we stand for that?
No!
If she were a Muslim, and they said, you cannot enter because you're a Muslim, would we stand for that?
No!
If it were a Christian saying, I just want access onto this plane, and they said no, would you stand for that?
No!
Why are we letting the mass create another form of division and otherness? It is a red herring, my friends. Don't be played.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, right now, Robert F. Kennedy had a beautiful debate with the attorney Horowitz, and ultimately he said that 1 out of 40 Americans are vaccine injured. Now that is a pandemic. And this is what they want to unfurl on all Americans and around the world. The problem is that we don't need the vaccination. And I have to say to you, if you're okay with a vaccination, situation, right? It's a 1 in 40 chance. Would you be okay if we played a game of Russian roulette? And we put a bullet in that chamber, and you had 40 chances of being shot or not? Would you be okay with that? Would you be okay with that with your children? No. Then why would you be okay with the needle? Right? So, ultimately, this is what's so beautiful about all of this, is we have the solutions. We have therapeutics, right? We have everything from ozone, hydrochloroquine, you name it, and that is being censored. Like all the elected officials, all the doctors, all the nurses who are on the front lines, that is being censored. If I were governor, you know what I would do? I would make sure that this so-called pandemic was not about politics but health. The first thing that I would do is make sure that there are funds to distribute vitamin C packets, vitamin D packets, zinc tablets. I would make sure children not saran wrap put in a styrofoam tray and put on the shelf like they're a piece of veal in their school system.
Yeah.
Make sure that we had actual organic neighborhood gardens, that we had organic gardens in schools.
Woo!
I would make sure that we actually had organic meals in every classroom.
Yes! Yes!
I would make sure that those who never learned to cook a meal were taught how to cook healthy.
Yes! Woo!
I would be responsible for myself as you should be responsible for yourself.
Yes!
What else can we do? Get on the same page. How many of you have heard of Dr. Pam Popper out of Ohio? Write this down. MakeAmericansFreeAgain.com. MakeAmericansFreeAgain.com. And let me tell you, she has a wonderful team of legalese and medical experts, and they've devised one question and one question only. And that is what will tell you whether or not you're going to be voting for these elected officials again, or voting for somebody else. And that question is this: I want the freedom to accept or reject vaccinations for myself and my minor children. The state or federal government cannot force me or my minor children to be vaccinated without my expressed permission.
Yes!
I'm going to just start wrapping this up, and I have one more thing to say. What looks to us is we have a Herculean effort before us. But I have to tell you something. There's a beautiful number that I want to share, and this is the number. When we won the Civil War, when we won the Civil Rights March, when we won giving women the rights to vote, the 19th Amendment, do you know how many people, how many Americans had to actively participate in that to be successful? 40%, 60%, 3.5%. 3.5% of active participation. In my town, that's 109 people. In California, that's about 1.1 million. In America, that's just over 11 million people actively participating. That means when you come here and get all juiced up, you gotta go right back home. Get involved in the superintendent of school meetings, get involved in the supervisory meetings in your county, stand before your city council, and they won't let you stand in the chamber where your democracy is supposed to be taking place. Then you need to be involved in those Zoom calls and still make them feel the heat. Folks, we have arrived. We are here for a reason. This is a do or die. And as was stated before, this is a war. It is a silent war. It is technological war. It is also psychological warfare. And it's very, very quiet, and it's creeped in on us. And we are part of the 3.5%. So the only thing I ask for you to do is to make that conscious choice to stand on the right side of history. When you look to your neighbors and the people you're walking past in the grocery stores, don't look at them in fear. That's what they want. Give them love, give them compassion, know that they do not know what's happening to them, and whatever you do, right, pick that road where you actually have a choice and you decide to continue on. Thank you so very much, everyone.
Yeah. Woo!
Mayor and City Council till just a few weeks ago. A a hero to all of us, showing a model of how an elected or appointed official should engage and work for solutions. I want to tell you, all the people you see up on this stage with me are my new family. And I want you to know that they're all from Nevada County, and they represent all different walks of life and different, business owners to students and parents and parishioners, community members. What the important thing is to remember is that this is what a solution looks like. It's not masks. It's not waiting for some vaccine. It's not separating and staying in isolation and shutting your business down. It's treatments. It's effective treatments that we already have, and it's standing with the people in your neighborhood and your town. So I want to introduce a few of them, because what you need to know is this solution is in your community right now too. These same people live in your town and in your neighborhoods, and they're just waiting for you to step out and say, here's my number. Let's take care of our kids and not let them put a mask on them and keep them out of school and social distance.
Yeah.
Here's my number, and I'll meet you down outside of the Board of Supervisors meeting, and let's put it on Facebook so our friends know. Here's our number, because there's a business that's suffering and is trying to stay open. Let's help support them. And here's my number, because there's an elder that hasn't seen anyone for 4 months. And we're just as well able as the person giving them their food every day to go in there and take care of them and comfort them and advocate for them. So I'm going to first bring up Sophia Christian and her father, Eric. She is a student of Nevada County, and the community members here are going to speak for a minute and let you see what a model looks like in a community.
Fellow citizens, how are you today? So great to be here. What a beautiful day, isn't it?
Yeah!
First, I want to thank the Freedom Angels for doing what they do on a daily basis. It's tough to sometimes get out of your comfort zone and to do what they're doing in a leadership role, and it's so necessary today, isn't it? So let's give them a round of applause.
Yeah! Woo!
And I want to thank our 3 Freedom Angels up in Nevada County that started what we've started, and that's local citizens standing up. 45 days ago, I didn't know anybody behind me, and now they're a family. And that's because of the leadership of Vanessa, Kim, and Joy, who started this in Nevada County. So I want to give you guys a round of applause.
Yeah!
45 days ago, Joy Porter called me because I was visiting my wife down in Las Vegas, where she's currently stationed. My wife is a group commander in the Air Force. She commands Air Force Squadron. She's Wonder Woman. And I was visiting her, and I got a call from Joy Porter, and she said, Eric, we need you to get up here. We need your skill set. We need you to get involved in your community, because 10 years ago, I made my wife a promise that I wouldn't dirty the nest, the county that I lived in. I wouldn't do what I do on a statewide level in my county. So all these people were strangers to me for 10 years. I walked around amongst strangers because that's kept the head down, just lived our lives, lived the dream. We got 40 acres up there, we're loving it. We're certainly blessed. Raising kids, homeschooling them. 45 days ago, Joyce, I need you to get up here. We have a county with 1 death, 45 total cases in a county of 100,000 people, and they won't allow our businesses to open. I said, what? No, I'm a pretty educated guy. I like to think that I'm pretty up on things. I had no idea what was happening in my own county. I sat down, I looked at the numbers, went to the website for the county, saw what the numbers really were, and I said, this is madness. What is going on? And I turned to my wife and I said, hon, I made you a promise 10 years ago that I wouldn't dirty the nest where we live. I said, but technically you live in Las Vegas now. So is it cool if I go up there and stir the pot a little bit and do what I do? And she said, go for it. So I flew in, and the next day we had a rally, and these folks have become friends, and they've become allies in a fight, a much bigger fight than just the individual. And it's been an honor to work with them. You don't need to change the world. You can change the community that you live within, and that will in part change the world. We don't need to save the world. We need to save ourselves. Because if you're not in support of the individual, if you think you're for minority rights, but you're not in support of the greatest... Did I do something? If you're not in support of the greatest minority on earth, which is the human individual, then you're not for minority rights. All you're for are certain groupthink and certain groups. And that is the most dangerous of all passions, is that blood libel, is that groupthink, That's not what we're about as a people. So we have been fighting, we have been making some noise, we have been making some change. The business owners in our town are struggling as they are across the country. Now, if you're Costco, you're doing all right? If you're Walmart, you're doing pretty good. They're packed. Not a lot of social distancing going on there, man. I'll tell you. It is all lies. But you know what's really hurting are our small businesses who are being treated as separate and unequal, and it is outrageous. So we are fighting for them. We have a group of brave business owners who are not just serving people outside in 100-degree heat. They are serving people inside as well, and it's a righteous fight. We're in a county where the virus has all been non-existent. We had 30. Sorry, a little loud. Okay. We are in a county that had 30 flu deaths last year. We have 1 death now. This is out of control. So one of the people that we're fighting for are our students, and our students now have been told that they need to go to distance learning as of 2 days ago. One of those students is my daughter, and we're not going to stand for this. We are going to stand up for our students as well as our businesses. So I brought one of those students today. She's my daughter, Sophia. She's a warrior. She's her section tennis champion. But more important than that, she's an FFA member. More important than that, she's somebody who doesn't need to be raised in fear and in the inhuman manner of pretending that kids need to be learning at home on a computer for 8 days, for 8 hours a day. So we're going to change that. So this is one of the warriors in the Kristen family, and she's going to give you her perspective, and we're proud of her and love her very much.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I'm not an amazing speaker like half the people that have been talking, so bear with me here. I am a student at Bear River High School in my Nevada County, and I've been asked to come up here to talk for my generation that has been muffled, and we have not been able to share what we are feeling, what we are being put through, what has been taken away from us. So I am here to speak for the people who have been put in fear, who have been shut down, and I'm here to speak for them on their behalf. Last Wednesday, my school board called everyone and said that we are now put back onto social distancing learning, which we were put on a couple months ago, 6 months ago. And I remember the day that they told us that we were going into distance learning, and our governor told us it would be 2 weeks. And here we are today, not back in school. And that will probably turn into a year. Our seniors last year didn't get a graduation. Our seniors this year will not get a senior year. The things that we are taking away from these students, that our governor has given us no solutions. We have all these solutions, and he doesn't blink an eye at them. He doesn't speak of them. He does not help us. He says, this is how it is. You deal with it. These are the laws, or these are your consequences. But if we have people like this, if we get together like this, we can shut him down.
Yeah! Woo!
Social distancing. I have been homeschooled my whole life. My freshman year was my first year back in public school. So I know how to, do homeschooling. Distance learning, let me tell you, you learn nothing. I learned nothing. If it wasn't for my mom and dad with their smart minds, I probably wouldn't have passed my sophomore year. I also did ag mechanics. How am I supposed to do ag mechanics with distance learning? You want to buy me a welder? You go right on ahead. I also raised a steer. I got my fair taken away from me. So did many of my friends. I built a fair project. So did many of my other friends, and that got taken away with us too. So I'm just here to make people aware that we have had multiple things taken away from us, and we are not here to stand for it. I am not. I'm glad that I got raised with the family that I did, that does not kneel to a feared governor who does not help for his community, who is not a leader. He is just a dictator. And I saw your quote. It said, from Will Wallace, it says, they will never take away our freedom. And I had another one today. My dad loves Braveheart. And the one quote that he wanted me to say was, all men die, but not all men get to live. Truly live.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've gone over our time, but I want 30 seconds for you to meet Ken Page of Friar Tuck's in Nevada County, in Nevada City, because this is what a business who stepped up and is.
I'm glad I got 30 seconds, that's all I can say. I'm a business owner, and rubber hits the road. When you own a business, you have employees and you have community. I didn't know how to retire. God said you have a plan for your life beyond age 65. Bought a restaurant a year and a half ago, and now I know why we got the restaurant. We decided my son, Chad, my wife, we decided that's enough. We need to stand up, and we need to let the sovereignty of God work in our lives through all of you. So it's fight the fight, don't give up. Come to Friar Tuck's and have chicken wings on me.
Yeah!
Thank you. So, our next speaker's coming up, but as she's coming up, just remember, this is what your town looks like. These people are out there waiting for you to stand with them and to organize, to help support the businesses, help protect our children so that they can actually have a healthy, natural life with each other and in schools, and our churches are open together. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Our next speaker, Deanna Lorraine. She's a conservative activist who ran for Congress against Nancy Pelosi and author of the best-selling book, Taking Back America.
Yeah! Woo!
Let's get the traffic out of the way first here. And again, remember, if you would like to organize locally in your counties, we have sign-up sheets for strike teams. We really need you guys to start signing up and getting involved locally. Hello, Sacramento!
Woo!
Hello, California!
Yeah!
Who is ready to get loud and bold?
Yeah!
We cannot be quiet anymore, baby. We need to get loud. We need to get bold. We need to take back America.
Yeah! Woo!
Ran for Congress against nasty Nancy Pelosi. And guess what else? I lost to a radical Muslim far-left socialist whose parents were in a domestic terrorist organization who murdered cops. Yeah. And guess what? He won by a landslide, too. I'm not gonna lie. So now it's only nasty Nancy Pelosi and a radical socialist running in that seat in the November election, guys. Right? So, I say this because it's okay. It just means that there's no Republican choice on the ballot anymore. But that means we need to fight that much harder, right? Because these are the kinds of people they're trying to install into our government all over. If we're not careful and we don't go out and vote and we don't go out and fight. The commies, absolutely. And I spent, it's okay because once the March primary, all of a sudden COVID happened and the shutdowns and the lockdowns. And then I decided, well, I'm quarantined anyways. What am I going to do? So I decided instead of to twiddle my thumbs, I started to write a book. So I just wrote a book. It just came out yesterday. It's called Taking Back America. And it's all about what we need to do to fight and take back America. All right? Because the thing is, you know it and I know it, that every facet of this coronavirus sham has been based on a fraud.
Yes!
Okay? And all these draconian measures that have been taken in response to it have been based on fraudulent information and premises. All right? What happened to 15 days to flatten the curve? What happened to that? Now with it just infinite time while they just keep on lockdown after lockdowns, while they strip us of their freedoms, all of our freedoms,
and they just push this creepy new dystopian future, take away our rights, push mandatory vaccines on us, traumatize our children. Is that going to happen? Are you guys going to stand for that?
No!
Hell no. This is why we fight. Hell no. Let's just get a big hell no.
Hell no!
We know, and anyone who has studied any of these numbers know that there are false positive coronavirus cases.
Yep.
Right? There are false positives. In fact, I would argue to say
Yes.
that most of them are false positives.
Yes.
And there's even, people have been testing non-human coronavirus samples, including the president of Tanzania, who happens to be a scientist. He tested a piece of fruit, and he tested an animal, a goat, and they came back positive for coronavirus. Okay, what's going on here? They're also counting presumed positive deaths for coronavirus as well. You could basically jump out of an airplane without a parachute on, and they'll say, died from COVID. Right? This is wrong. This is a fraud of epic proportions. And yet, they're basing all of these dystopian, draconian measures on these fraudulent information. What's going on? What is going on? Right? Fire Fauci! Fire Fauci!
Fire Fauci! Fire Fauci! Fire Fauci! Fire Fauci! Fire Fauci! Fire Fauci! Fire Fauci! Fire
Guess what?
Fauci!
I did start the Fire Fauci hashtag, by the way.
Woo! Yeah!
And it made it into President Trump's press conferences, which is pretty cool.
Yes!
It made him address it, right? It is long past due that we fire Fauci, that we get some real doctors in there who don't just push vaccines and lockdowns.
Yes!
Actually talk about boosting our immune system.
Yes!
Sense ways to boost our health.
Yes!
Right? Right. So guess what? Coronavirus and all these governors, they've stopped being about our health when these people, these governors like Gavin Newsom said with a straight face that we cannot protest, we have to wear a mask, we have to be vaccinated, locked down, stripped of our businesses.
Boo!
He encourages us to protest against Black Lives Matter. And somehow the coronavirus can't get you. And are you going to say with a straight face where he said we have to ban fireworks for the 4th of July, and he's issuing contact tracing,
hell no.
operation,
Boo!
singing in churches?
Boo!
Are you going to tell me? While he keeps his own winery open, by the way,
Boo!
right, and he's making money, are you going to tell me that it's about our health anymore? Hell no.
Hell no.
It's about our health. When you're banning singing in churches, when you're banning fireworks, but no, you can just openly protest for Black Lives Matter and anything else. It's ridiculous. You know it, and I know it, that this is not about our health. This is not about our safety. This is about global tyranny. This is an excuse to usher in global tyranny. I'm sure you all know Agenda 2030. They're pushing it in. Agenda 2030, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, Event 201. Look it up by the World Economic Forum. This is all going down right now. And guess what? I know I gotta wrap up. You gotta rip this microphone off of me, okay? Guys, this is happening right now. And guess what? They're gonna push this in relentlessly, whether Trump wins or not. They are pushing it through. Remember, President Trump is only one man, okay? The power lies with us.
Yes!
The power lies with us.
Yes! Woo!
We the people. And the government, we should not be afraid of our government, okay?
Yes!
The government should be afraid of the people.
Yes!
Should be
Woo! Yes!
The government should be afraid of the people.
That's
we
right.
have the power, guys, and we have to fight back. We have to be bold because this agenda is coming fast, whether we like it or not, and we have to stand up. One last quote, okay? One last quote, I'm gone. There's a famous quote that I love by Edmund Burke. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Are we going to allow this evil to stop us person to take over our world, take over our future. When our future is filled with masks and social distancing and a lack of humanity. No. We have to be good men and good women, and we need to stand up to this tyranny and not let anyone, we can't wait for anyone, we can't wait for anyone
Right,
to say
exactly.
today, we have
Yes.
our own day. We have
Yes.
our own country.
Yes! Woo! Yes!
God, family, and country, we can do this. We can do this.
Yes!
Country.
Woo! Yes!
Social media, Diana for Congress. Thank you.
USA! 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 USA!
All right, our next speaker. Sorry, we got a few more speakers to go and we're on a time clock here. So our next speaker is John Duncan. He's a pastor, a retired police officer, a businessman, and a patriot. The majority of his professional career has been in public service. He maintains a passion for promoting and pursuing the truth, and it is his greatest hope that we awaken to the blessing we have received as a nation and work to ensure that the liberty we have lasts for generations to come. Please help me welcome Pastor John Duncan, who was one of the first pastors in the nation to stand up boldly and not close his church with his
Yeah!
Hello, Californians.
Yeah!
How many know that we are in a trying season right now? And here's the interesting thing, as many of the speakers have said this morning, is that the opportunity remains for us to take back the ground that has been taken in one way or another. But I challenge you in this. Will you let the peace of God rule your actions as you stand courageously against tyranny and against the efforts of the government to take our God-given rights? Will you stand?
Yes!
Do you believe that our rights are God-given?
Yes!
Do you believe the founding fathers didn't understand how to write a document, or do you think they knew exactly what they were dealing with?
Yes!
They knew exactly what they were facing, and the reality is this. What are we seeing in America right now? We're seeing the revelation of what was going on under the surface. It's coming to the forefront, and there are going to be things that boil up that will rock the conscience. And I challenge you in this. Do not forget what you are seeing. Do not forget what you've seen, what you've heard. In many communities, they are angry right now because for years, liberals and Democrats have been making them promises that they did not keep. Do you understand their frustration and anger?
Yeah.
But we open the door. We as conservatives, as patriots, as God-fearing people begin to open the door and welcome in our brothers and sisters, our fellow Americans. The challenge before you is this. And I made a couple notes and I want to hit them this morning. But clarity is coming to America. Clarity is coming to the heart and mind of America. We for too long have been putting up with things that are inexcusable. We have not wanted to look, but it is time to look and it is time to reveal the things that have been going on. I challenge you in this. Our government has come and in so many different ways stolen our money and given it to things that do not matter.
Yep. Like
I
child
don't trust a
trafficking.
government that has no problem killing babies in the womb and putting COVID-19 positive people in elderly homes, endangering the most sensitive and vulnerable members of our population, and then turning around and chastising us and shaming us for wanting to take a stand. Your rights matter.
Yes.
Now the challenge to the church, the challenge to the patriot is this. What would you have said about you if today was your last day? How would history be written regarding your name? It's time to fight. It's time to stand. We need to take back education. Churches need to open their doors and demand the government get the boot off the neck of the church and the small business.
Woo!
Our state is broke. They have broken themselves due to political ideals and spending on things. There's the government again, shutting off my mic. Just kidding. But nonetheless, spending it on things that benefit them. Deep pockets for them, not us. And the challenge has become this. How much will we take? But here's the goal. Here is the goal. We can't let our message be lost in our anger. We have to speak clearly. We have to speak directly. And I'll challenge you this. Churches, I know pastors, you are listening. If you will not speak now for the freedom of the people who have been given God-given rights, if the church won't stand, then who's going to? If the pulpits won't speak, who's going to? Remain silent and see what happens. Make a deal with the government and see what happens. See, one thing before I go I want to leave you with. California can be restored.
Yeah!
California can be restored. We can heal the broken. We can reinforce what is still standing. Look around you.
It will be restored.
There's the government again. Take a look at the bridge behind you and the beautiful scenes. This state is amazing, full of amazing people like you. There's a story in the Bible of a prophet who got tired of speaking the truth. He hid in a cave, God came and fed him. And he was worried. He was worried he was all alone. And God said, I have 7,000 who have not bent their knee. I have 7,000 who have stood against the government of the day. Look around you. Look around you. We are not alone. We are able. We are willing. But I pray this. Let peace be your guide. Do not lose your message in your anger. Speak clearly, because people truly are hurting. They truly are broken. They truly are lonely. But I believe we are ready.
Yeah! Woo!
Will you join me in standing for your God-given freedoms?
Yeah!
Thank you for coming today. You are loved.
Yeah!
And yes, all lives matter.
Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Children lives matter.
All right, one quick announcement. We had a driver's license that was found on the ground. How do we say that name? Irene? Well, Juanita Irene. So if you have lost your driver's license, please come to the back of the stage and we will get you a driver's license. All right, here we go. Thank you, Pastor John Duncan. So great to have local pastors standing strong. Okay, our next speaker is Dr. Jeff Barkey. He is a board-certified primary care physician for over 25 years. He completed his medical school and family practice residency at the University of California, Irvine, and he practices in Newport Beach, California. Please help me welcome Dr. Jeff Barkey.
Woo!
Good afternoon, Patriots.
Yeah!
Yep, it's afternoon. I know you're all hot, so I won't speak long, but I think it's important that you know something. What if the politicians don't actually care about your children?
They don't.
What if the politicians are playing politics with all of our children?
Exactly.
I don't want to assign motives to their decisions, but they clearly are not following the science. When it comes to our children and schools, the science is crystal clear. Who can tell me how many children in the state of California have died from COVID-19?
0.
That would be 0. So why then are we going through these machinations of opening up schools when children are not at risk of this virus? What we also know is that there's very little, if any, evidence that children spread this virus to adults and to teachers. Currently, there has been 0 cases of school children spreading this virus to their adult teachers. It just doesn't happen. Now, don't get me wrong. This virus, if you're in a high-risk group, is deadly. If you're an old person and you have significant pre-existing conditions, beware. If you're in a nursing home, beware. But if you're in a younger, healthier age group, you have nothing to fear. In addition, we know that if treated early with mild symptoms, we are very successful at treating this virus with a range of treatment options, including hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Z-Pak.
Yeah!
But the bureaucrats don't seem to want to make this available to us, and makes it difficult for physicians to prescribe medications and treatments that can offer a benefit. When treated early with mild symptoms, we're very good at treating this illness. When treated late, it's very difficult to treat. So I'm here to tell you that the politicians are not looking after your best interests, and certainly not the best interests of our children. I appreciate so much that you're here to support all these speakers, to support this movement. It's important that you're here. It's important that you show up at the ballot box. It's important that you show up not just at the big races, but at the smaller races too, and that includes school board races, city council races. That's where some of these decisions are being made. We have over 1,000 independent school districts in the state of California. Yet our imperial governor thinks he knows best and wants to take the decision-making away from the local school districts and put it back up at the central location across my back in Sacramento, and that's just wrong. So it's time we let our imperial governor know that we won't stand for that. We want local control, local decisions. We want parental rights over education. We want the parents to make decisions about their children,
yes,
not the governor.
Yes! Woo! Yes!
Introduce to you a bold warrior on the ground in Orange County, California, on the County Board of Education, who recently approved a white paper guideline asking and giving permission to school districts that want to use their guideline to open the hell up.
Yeah!
I'd like to introduce to you my wife and school board member at the County of Orange County, Mary Barkey.
Yeah!
Hello everyone, thrilled to be here with you. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for protecting our rights and our children. We did make a very bold move. About 2 weeks ago, we approved a white paper that suggested that schools could open safely, that children were at a bigger risk of not being in school than they are of being in school. Much bigger risk on the freeway or in swimming pools than in any school. No child in Orange County has died, as my husband told you. So we'd like to see the schools open, but it's not going to happen unless you fight. I did hear from my friend Mark Kristen that I believe yesterday a small district in Nevada County voted to open. That's the first we've seen in the state. I understand also that they used information from our white paper. If anybody wants our white paper, probably the easiest thing to do is go to Mary, M-A-R-I, at marybarkey.com. Mary at marybarkey.com. Mary has an I, Barkey has an E, and I'll send you that white paper. We also have in Orange County something called the Parent Union. It's spreading across California, and we have a huge rally on Tuesday, November 4th. Guess where? In front of the Teachers Union. I'm sorry, August 4th. August 4th, Tuesday, 5 to 7 p.m. We'd love to see everybody out there. We'd love to see thousands of people right in front of our Teachers Union because they don't want to open schools. We got to show them who has the power. The parents have the power. The parents are in the best position to make decisions for their children. Our paper suggested that kids are safe without masks, but that's also a parental decision. Send your kids to school with a mask, without a mask. It's up to you. But please fight for your kids and fight for America. God bless all of you. Thanks for coming out today.
Yeah! Woo!
And right before Heidi introduces, I just want to say again, Mary Barkey, Department of Ed, Orange County, they did an expert panel and did a real transparent process with public involvement, came out with guidelines that can be used in every town, every school, every county, every state in this nation. You can find it on Freedom Angels as well, on Jeff Barkey's, on Mary Barkey's. We'll show you more ways. I can't tell you enough what an incredible tool that they have put together for us to fight for our kids, to open our schools and say there is no reason to keep them closed or to have them masked or social distance. So thank you.
Thank you very much to Dr. Barkey and Mrs. Barkey. What a pleasure and honor to have them come all the way up from Orange County. Thank you guys. So our next speaker also came very far. This is Pastor Brian Hawkins. He is down in Riverside County. He is the senior pastor of Divine Appointment Worship Center. As a servant and father of 5 children, he wants you to know he is not perfect and he has made mistakes. At 15, he saved 3 men from the wilderness, and that day he knew that that was his defining leadership moment. However, nothing compares to the 10 years he spent in prison. He is not perfect. College and career came after his child and young adult mistakes. Not every bio is the same for every occasion. So that's why he simply states he is a servant. God makes all things new.
Yeah.
Join me in welcoming Pastor Brian.
Amen, amen. Hey, can I get everybody to stand up? I need you to get uncomfortable for a minute. If you've been sitting down for a while, I need you to stand up. I need everybody to stand up, because see, this is what happens when you become comfortable with sin. You start to get comfortable, you want to sit down, and this is the reason why we're in this mess, because a lot of us got comfortable along the way, and we stopped doing the things that's important.
Yeah!
So when you become comfortable with the devil, he runs havoc in your life. So this is the result of becoming comfortable with sin. 1962, they took prayer out of school. When they took prayer out of school, they opened the door up for the devil to do anything he wants to do. I have yet to close my church doors, and I will refuse to close my church doors. So just to let you guys know, I won't be here long, because I got to fly back to open up my church doors tomorrow. But I want to say something to each and every one of you guys. We got to get back to our first love. We got to get back to serving Christ. All of this stuff, if we don't serve Christ, we can talk about government, we can talk about politics, but we got to get back to repentance. We got to get back to saying, Jesus, I'm sorry. We got to get back to saying, Lord, forgive me. If we don't do that today, it don't matter who you vote for in November. See, I didn't come to bring a political side. I came to bring a sword, because I'm telling you right now, man. I'm telling you right now, I don't care who's in the White House. I support Trump. That's the reason why I lost a lot of friends along the way, because I support what he's doing for America. I support But besides all that, I support Jesus Christ. So for all you kneeling fans out there, Psalms 95 tells me to kneel before nobody but our Lord, our Maker. So if you like to be in the kneeling business, get back to prayer. If you want to start a movement, start a prayer movement. Don't give me your theology, give me your neology. It's time for you to get back to praying and asking God to forgive me for my wrongdoings. Forgive me for thinking adultery. Forgive me for thinking sexual immorality. Forgive me for stealing. Forgive me for lying. Don't come with me with your politics. Come with me with your prayer life. And that's what it's going to matter. I came all the way up. I flew out here last night to let you know that Jesus lives. I'm standing on the Capitol floor. Listen, at the end of the day, each and every one of you, at the end of the day, the Bible says every tongue will confess. Every knee will bow. You better bow now before it's too late. The kingdom of heaven is, I'm telling you, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. God is soon to return. And listen, stop asking Jesus to come back now, because some of us ain't ready. Stop telling that, because if you said Jesus come back now, you a selfish Christian. You a selfish believer. There's people that's not ready. You yourself may not be ready. So today, get ready. Today, get your house in order. Get your money in order. Get your finances in order. Get your life in order. But get your prayer life in order. Pray for your pastor. I don't know where the pastors have gone. A lot of them went on vacation. I don't know. But I'm standing here flat-footed to proclaim my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So I know the devil don't like me. and I'm all right with it. I didn't come down here to make friends. I can't let the devil know that this ain't his territory.
Yeah!
I can't let the devil know that this ain't his place. I can't let the devil know that he will not have this victory. I serve an awesome God. How many here serve an awesome God?
Woo! Yeah!
How many over here serve an awesome God?
Yeah!
Amen, amen. So listen, in closing, I'm going to do something that our governor don't want us to do. How many here know Amazing Grace?
Yeah!
How many here know Amazing Grace?
Woo!
On the count of 3. Now, before we sing Amazing Grace, right, I need us to make a loud noise. It's called Shabbat. It means to push things up into the upper realm, right? So on the count of 3, I want you guys to yell hallelujah as loud as you can. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hallelujah!
Oh, that didn't work. That didn't work, because I'm going to tell you right now, had it worked, the ground would have shut, all right? So we got to do it again. I'm going to need y'all help over there, all right? We got men in blue that people want to see them defunded. I support each and every one of you officers over there.
Yeah! Woo! Yeah!
And just to let you guys know, I got the backing of my city. My own mayor, Mayor Andrew Kayak, has supported me being here. I got the Senator State Melendez in our city. Even our sheriff, Riverside County Chad Bianco, that stood outside the churches being open.
Woo!
I stand with anybody that stand with God.
Yeah.
I stand, say that one more time. I don't care what color you are. I don't care how tall you are, how short you are, what language you speak. I stand with anybody that stand with God. So we're going to yell hallelujah one more time. 1, 2, 3.
Hallelujah.
Oh, that sound good. That sound good. Get your Bibles. Y'all ready? Amen. Come on, y'all church. Y'all sound good. Oh, y'all sound beautiful. You see this, governor? We singing. God said he inhabits the praises of his people. Come on, we got to be found in this season. Come on, y'all sound good. Come on. Come on, lift your hands up and surrender. This is beautiful. Surrender. God bless America. God bless everybody here. Amen.
Thank you so much. That was incredible. We need more singing.
Woo!
In fact, we are going to be coming back for more singing. We'll be announcing that soon. Freedom Angels will have an announcement. We're going to come back for a lot of singing all around this Capitol. So that was just a taste right there that you got. Okay, our next speaker is Mr. Alan Hostetter. He is the founder of the American Phoenix Project. Alan is a husband, father, and grandfather whom has spent 4 years in the Army Infantry, 20 years as a local law enforcement officer, and 9 years on SWAT before retiring as a police chief in 2010. As Alan began to see the shredding of the Constitution and the dismantling of our freedom, he began organizing in his own hometown of San Clemente, California. So we have Mr. Allen here all the way from Orange County. Please welcome him.
Yeah! Woo!
Thank you everyone so much. And I want to thank you all simply for showing up, because that is what's important, is that we all show up.
Yeah!
I want to begin this actually just taking it down just a notch. I'm about to ask you to join me in a moment of silence. And that moment of silence is going to be for the millions and millions of Californians and people across this country who are jobless, desperate, out there committing suicide from this desperation and depression. Children that are being abused and sexually assaulted in their own homes because they can't go to school and they're left with violent parents that are drunk or on drugs in their own homes. But a moment of silence for all these people that are dying out there because they can't get into a hospital because they're afraid of COVID-19. So please, just take this one moment of silence and please join me. Thank you. Gavin Newsom is a criminal. Gavin Newsom is a criminal. I'm about to explain exactly why for you.
as I stated before I came up here, I was a police officer for 24 years, 9 of those years on a SWAT team where I spent most of my time chasing down some of the most violent criminals you can imagine, serving high-risk search warrants, responding to hostage situations, etc., etc. I only share that little bit of information with you so that when I talk about criminals and crime, you understand that I've had some experience with this.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom is a criminal.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm going to take you on a little journey back in time here to make this point. I'm going to go all the way back to 1968. I was 4 years old back in 1968. Some of you might remember this is the year that the Hong Kong flu struck the world. The population of the United States of America in 1968 was approximately 200 million people. The Hong Kong flu killed roughly 100,000 Americans, killed 1 million people around the world. Today our population is 330 million. And we are being fed an absolute lie as far as the death count from COVID-19. You know it, I know it, the numbers are fake, they're inflated, it's one huge lie.
Yes, the biggest
hope. And we are being fed this bullshit number of about 150,000 deaths right now. You know that's nonsense.
Yes.
So keep this in mind, right? 150,000 roughly dead in a population of 330 million today in 2020. Back in 1968, 100,000 died, population of 200 million. We haven't even reached yet per capita the death count from COVID-19 that we had in 1968 from the Hong Kong flu. Right?
Yes.
It's insane. And so when I go back to Gavin Newsom being a criminal, the way that I want to talk about this is like this. When you look at those numbers and you look at the survivability rate of roughly 99.9% from this virus, you know he's full of crap.
Yeah.
They're all looking at us, straight in our eyes, and lying to us day after day after day after day. The most evil mainstream media, global corporations around the world, 90% of the news media that we consume is put out by 4 to 6 corporations around the world. These lies are being fed.
Yes.
So we all know it's fake news.
Yep.
We all know we're being lied to. Gavin Newsom and all these blue state governors, Inslee up in Washington, Brown in Oregon, Whitmer in Michigan, they look us straight in the eye and they lie to us.
Yep.
They think we're stupid. And what are they doing? They are taking actions, knowingly taking actions that are killing people. These people that I asked for that moment of silence for a moment ago, they're killing people. And back in my days as a cop, when I was putting together a case on somebody, and that somebody acted with intent, and they took intentional actions with malice of forethought that resulted in the deaths of 100,000 people. What do you think we called that back in the days when I was a cop?
Murder.
Yes, murder.
Yes.
Murder. Gavin Newsom is a criminal.
Criminal.
He's been committing murder since the beginning of this.
Yes.
And now I want to talk a little bit about how our founding fathers would have dealt with this. Back in 1776, if somebody like this were sitting in a state house in one of those 13 colonies, leading like this, governing like this, as a tyrant, a dictator, killing people. Our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, John Adams, Ben Franklin, they would have gotten on their horses and they would have rode into town. They would have dragged that bastard out by his hair.
Yes.
They would have drug him into the town square and they'd have given him a choice. They'd have said, Gavin, you can be hung or you can be torn and feathered and banished. Pick one.
Yeah. There you go.
Of course, he would have taken the tar and the feather, I would never encourage an act of violence against any member of our political class. That would be wrong, right? So I'm not encouraging that, but that's what would have happened. They would have drugged him out by his hair to the town square, tarred and feathered him, walked him out to the edge of a wood line, said, don't you ever come back, or the next option will be you're hung. he would have never been seen again. But what do we have here? For humiliation instead of tar and feathering? Take a guess. Recall. We're going to humiliate this bastard with a recall. There are recall booths here. I want to take a moment just to say thank you so much to all the people out there that are working up and down the state in the heat, sitting out there gathering these petition signatures. You are amazing people. I love you. We all love you.
Agreed.
I can't say enough about it. So make sure you sign these petitions. We need to get this killer out of Sacramento.
Agreed.
Now I'm going to wrap up my comments here. I want to wrap up my comments briefly because when I speak all this fire and brimstone, because I'm feeling it and I know you're feeling it and I know what you want to do and I know what I want to do. So we're going to recall this guy. But I always end on an optimistic note.
Yeah, let's go.
I want to talk a little bit about my nonprofit. It's called the American Phoenix Project. And it's all about what happens when we leave this crisis and we move on from here. We can never, ever, ever go back to normal.
Yeah.
Ever. When I say that, I mean
normal
the way
wasn't
we
good.
were governed. We're going to go back to normal, no masks, those kinds of things.
Normal was an illusion the whole time.
Our friends.
Yes.
But we can never go back to the way it was as a government.
We thought we had it good.
Lording over us. And then
what's coming is way better.
We can never go back to that. So this nonprofit organization is dedicated to where we go from here and encouraging positive change, finding governmental corruption at the local level, the state level, the federal level, everywhere, and going after it.
Yes.
With the mainstream media, the evil that is the mainstream
Shut them
media.
down!
Yes. Shut them down!
That's
Social
90% of our damn
censorship.
problem.
Yep.
We've all been dealing with that. We got to take down these bastards that run the world, the masters of the universe, the Zuckerberg,
They're trying to kill us.
and on
This ain't
and
no
on.
joke
It's
no
coming.
more.
No, seriously.
President Trump
No
is already
damn
working
joke.
on this.
Yeah.
I got a little
It's
daughter. I want her
coming.
to
It's
be
coming. So
free.
thank you
Yeah.
all so much for
We need to
being
stop
here.
being fucking
When you leave here,
Yep.
this is a call to action from myself and all these wonderful speakers that were up here.
Yeah.
It's a call to
Yeah.
action. When you leave here, keep fighting.
Yeah.
Marching.
Woo!
Organizing.
Yes.
Ever go back to sleep. We are awake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to pass being awake on to our children and our grandchildren. We're going to protect them.
Yes.
And fighting, never stop. Thank you very much.
Forever. Yes.
We need a politics.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
Great job.
Yeah.
Firmly for some funding. All right. Our last speaker is Mr. Earl Weber. He is a candidate for
Woo!
in California's
Yeah.
7th Congressional District. He has quite a story. He immigrated from Jamaica here in 2002 when he was only 15 years old.
Wow.
I think as an immigrant, he understands what his family risked to get here, the sacrifices that he made. So Earl continues to give back to the United States that gave him the invaluable opportunity to succeed
I don't even pick
by
a
now
side.
running for Congress.
The
Please
Democrat and
welcome
Republican are
Mr.
both good.
Weber.
Yeah.
There's certain good people in both parties.
I think it's time we the people just, have to take control.
Now unto him who is able to keep California from falling.
Ran out of a grocery
We
store
need to
because I
protect
didn't wear a mask.
I'm the same way. I did the same. Yeah.
Damn second.
Damn, that's hella good.
Too long.
Yeah, me too.
The tyrants of the Democrat Party
That's the only way I'm going to get fucking things out.
Good job, man. God bless you.
and controlling every
Thanks.
aspect of our lives. And we don't stand for that. So my name is Earl Weber, candidate for Congress in California's 37th Congressional District. I want to share the importance of our congressional representatives. You see, if we don't do a good job, an effective job at addressing key federal issues, it has a negative ripple effect on state level issues when it comes to quality of life. So right now we're in month number 5 of the COVID lockdown, and many people lost their jobs all across the state and all across the country. We need to ensure that as people get back to work, that preference goes to our American citizens and that new jobs are going to American citizens. When our federal lawmakers, especially the ones on the liberal side, when they're all about open borders and all that, what happens is they displace American citizens from available jobs. It also contributes towards wage suppression.
All these damn immigrants come in. That's great if they come legally and they learn about America. We let them in too fast, too soon. Did they fight for their country? Did they all try to overthrow their government to keep free? No, they didn't, because look, there's no other free country in the world. So they don't have the gusto, like we do, to fight for freedom.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do it in their own country, so what makes you think they'll do it here? They need to learn the Constitution, they need to learn the right things, and then they can come in.
They're not American nationals.
And that's fine. I'm all about immigration. But hey, they need to learn why we are the greatest country to come to. And it's because of this.
Equally morally bankrupt Democratic majority in our state assembly and state senate. We have a governor who stays in death penalty for 700 death row inmates, and in the next breath invites expected mothers to come in for abortion. We have a governor who will reinstitute the individual mandate to punish Californians for not getting health coverage we already can't afford. And then grant free health coverage to illegal aliens. Does that make any sense?
They do not teach them.
We have a governor who will shut down the entire state for months, and then the one weekend in the summer where he can really make a comeback as a business and shut down all businesses over 4th of July weekend. But he keeps reminding people. What kind of nonsense is that? That's what tyrants do. But now, speaking of tyrants, I'd like to tell you a little bit about who I'm running against. I'm not going to spend too much time for it. It's Karen Bass. Yes, I'm literally running against.
It's all Bill Gates.
She is, I would call her a communist Jew.
Unfortunately, that money is what our
folks,
youth is.
I need your help getting her out of office. We cannot have these communists in office, and especially considering that she's the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. So she's the figurehead of the generational black victimhood that is fueling a Marxist race and class war in America right now. And now Joe Biden wants to take her on as VP. Do you really want China hugging Joe Biden as president, Karen Bass as vice president, and then Nancy Pelosi running the show? No. So we need to get out, we need to mobilize, and you need to recognize that even though I'm running for Congress all the way down in Beverly Hills to Inglewood, that there are things that you can do up here. I have folks who are driving up from San Diego to help me canvass. I have bikers who are coming into California to help me canvass. There is no excuse for any of you to not come and help me canvass. We have a state to take back, and I'm looking forward to all of your support. Make sure you go to Weber2020.com, and I'm looking forward to your donations. I'm looking forward to you sharing my conservative message and letting everyone know across the aisle, irrespective of which side of the aisle they're on, that there are conservative solutions to everybody's problems. So in my district, it's very heavily Democrats, and I need to make sure that I reach way across the aisle. And one of the things I like to point out is that though liberals have a specific set of things that they want, there's a core reason why they want it. A lot of times it's just for like financial security and things like that, but there's a conservative solution to addressing these things, and that is for us to then go out and share this conservative message. So folks, I'm looking forward to your continued support. Again, my name is Earl Weber, Republican for Congress, the California's 37th District. Let's protect religious freedom. Let us enforce school choice. Let us keep transparency so parents have the right to choose what's best for them, their family, and their children. Thank you so much. And also, in this district is Chris Fish, so make sure to check her out.
Thank you so much. We're going to close out with one song here. Here we go.
What's up, Sacramento? How you feeling? I was gonna rock a little musical set for you guys today, but we're running real low on time. I go by Oso Cali. I love Cali. I love my state, y'all, for real, man. I love this place. I don't want to see it run by no corrupt individuals, man. And you know what? We all are here because we feel in our heart, in our soul, that this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I gotta say. Look around, all right? Every single one of us, we're family. This tune right here is called Come Family. When I hit the hook, I want y'all to sing it with me. It goes like this. So come family, I say now come family. Sing it with me. come family. I say now come family. Cause I look around and I see where we be, and I see we in a state of emergency. I'm up here, I'm on emergency. I'm up here and I'm emergency. If we fought harder to understand than just to disagree, we wouldn't leave our families stuck as some refugees. Whether it was Syria, even in New Orleans, I tell you, oh so Cali, on me you can come and lean. So come here with me and we can find some peace. If we don't come together, then they'll never release the grips that they have on our society. So we must build a strong community, and I know that we will. We have the ability, no more blood to spill, because our love is the key, and that will help grow our entire family tree with the stronger branches and the roots so deep. Yeah, the waves are crashing the right up at our feet. We need to be proactive and not accept defeat. Together start fighting till we feel the relief. I feel the fire igniting, the next step is belief. So come family, I say now come family. Sacramento, come on sing it with me. It's like come family, I say now come family. It's not just you and me, it's him and her and us, and we don't succumb family. We won't succumb family. We'll overcome together, everybody we will need. So come family, I say now come family. We need to get together, living happily. So come family, I say now come family. Tell your mom, your dad, your uncle, your auntie, I know what you're thinking of, the fish in the sea, but my homie told me we need efficiency. So I'm here casting out, I'm just fishing, you see. It's time to work together more efficiently, and we can make this better, do things differently. Start with small changes here initially. Officially, we could be the changes that we wish to see. No more living separately, work together as a team in order to achieve this journey, focusing upon this theme that we are all one family, cause we are all one family. And I look around, yeah, I see where we be. I see we in a state of emergency. I'm up here, I'm on emergency. I'm up here and I'm emergency. So come family, I say now come family. Sacramento, come on sing it with me. It's like come family, I say now come family. It's not just you and me, it's him and her and us, and we don't succumb family, we won't succumb family. We'll overcome together, everybody we will need. So come family, I say now come family. We need to get together, living happily. That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna leave y'all with one thing. You see this hair, man? It's the words from the legend Bob Marley. It goes like this, man. You can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And now you see the light. You know what? We stand up for our rights. It goes like this. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Yeah, sing it. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Come on, real loud. Get up, stand up. That's right. Stand up for your rights. That's right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. All right, y'all, peace. I'm also Cali, man. Tap in with me. Much love.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I just want to end real quick with information on recallgavin2020.com. We have Angela, who heads the booth right here. She's going to give you direction on how you can sign the petition.
Hey everybody, my name is Angela May. I'm here managing the Recall Gavin 2020 effort that just started June 10th, 2020. Woo! So remember, if you sign before that with another effort, it doesn't count this time, and there are no online petition efforts that are valid. So your wet signature is required. Now before I finish what I'm about to say, I'm going to remind you something about our country. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. We have spoken, and we are speaking louder and louder every day. Gavin Newsom, you hear us?
Yeah.
We're just getting started.
Yeah.
So if you have anybody that hasn't signed yet, head over to one of our booths or anybody walking around and sign the petition today. Thank you all for coming.
Yeah. Woo.
So thank you guys for coming out. You can see us at freedomangelsfoundation.org, and if you're still interested in staying, you can go to the west side of the Capitol where there's more speakers and more music. Thank you all, and you heard all the places to go, including tonight in Grass Valley downtown. The businesses that are staying open from 6 to 10. If you're in the area, go to Grass Valley, and see you soon.
Woo!
Thank you. Hey, we're going to start the school rally here in just a minute. So housekeeping as you wander in. Just be sure on Capitol grounds, you want to stay 6 feet apart from everyone unless you're the same household. This is the condition of the permit. So you've got plenty of shade. You can space out, right? Make a good crowd. Thank you.